Hello everyone and welcome to the Pilz Automation Safety Training on the Pilz PNOZmulti Configurable Relay Line. My name is Ben Harper and I'm the National Sales Manager for Pilz, and our training today will be presented by one of our Senior Sales Engineers, Pat Morrissey. As a reminder, this is part 4 of a 15-part series of trainings we will be presenting on the Pilz products and services, as well as some coverage of safety standards. I hope you'll all plan on attending the full series of these trainings, and I hope that they will prove to be valuable to you in learning more about machine safety and how Pilz can help you achieve your overall machine safety goals. I'll mention briefly that servers for all online meetings have been quite taxed in recent weeks. Should we experience any technical difficulties during the presentation, I'll simply restart the meeting and you can all rejoin, at which time Pat will pick up where he left off and we'll complete the training. With that, I'll go ahead and hand it over to Pat Morrissey to begin our presentation. Pat?
Thank you, Ben. Hello, everyone. As Ben mentioned, my name is Pat Morrissey. I'm a Senior Sales Engineer here at Pilz Automation Safety, and today we'll focus on the PNOZmulti Configurable Relay. Topics we'll cover: when to use the PNOZmulti, the PNOZmulti product family, communication modules, expansion modules, configurator/software, and review of benefits. The multi provides a number of benefits, so before I start my presentation today, I just wanted to share a couple of key benefits to keep in mind as I present. The multi gives you the ability to reach the highest level of safety, PO Level E, Cat 4, SIL 3. The flexibility of the multi means it can support various types of projects. The multi provides a safe solution for safety and automation, such as our motion modules, which we'll discuss later in the presentation. And also, less wiring is needed thanks to the configurated software, meaning quicker production. When to use the multi. The multi is best used when you have 3 to 20 safety functions for an application. Thanks to advanced logic, the multi can handle multiple safety applications at once, unlike a relay that mainly handles one-on-one functions. As you see here on my slide, there's a graph showing as the logic complexity rises and the number of functions increases, that we adapt and we change the product type. Thanks to Phil's presentation last week, we learned about the Sigma safety relay and its functions, capabilities of handling 1 to 3 functions. Today, we'll be learning about the PNOZmulti and its capabilities of handling 3 to 20 functions. And on May 21st, Thomas Fordig will be giving a discussion discussing the PSS 4000 and its capabilities of handling 21 plus functions. If you're interested in learning more about this presentation, please reach out to your local sales engineer and they'll get some information on the PSS 4000 presentation. The PNOZmulti product family. The multi is made up of 3 family members: the multi, also referred to as the classic, the multi mini, and the multi 2. These 3 products provide the highest level of safety, configured and clear. These 3 programs are not seen throughout the world, but also can be seen in various machines and industries because of how flexible and reliable these controllers are. They don't only keep employees safe, but keep machines safe as well. And you see here on the left side, you can see how the multi has actually evolved over the years. First, we see our multi classic, big, bulky, with a large number of inputs. And then also you have our multi mini, was requested by some of our customers for their smaller applications. And then you have our multi 2, which was actually our generation 2 of the multi classic. And what we did is we adapted to what our customers' needs were, as in saving cabinet space and making compact size, but also having the same quality and functions of the multi classic. Also on this page, you'll notice the number of certifications that we have throughout Pilz. This is a great thing to have because you can see that we're various in many regions in different countries, and we're certified various. We have certifications in Germany, China, the United States, Canada, Russia, and Korea. The Multi Classic. The Multi Classic came out in 2002 and comes with 20 safe inputs, 4 semiconductor outputs, 2 safe relay outputs. There's 8 different types of multi-classic units that are broken down by the type of interface that they use. We have 4 with RS-232 and 4 with Ethernet. As you see on the slides here, I have examples of our Ethernet interface. These units are also broken down by the type of applications they use. As you see here, our M2P and our M3P are used for press applications and also used for burner management applications such as furnaces. Another added benefit that was shown on the last slide also, we see here the removable chip card. I'll explain a little bit more about that when I discuss the Multi 2, but this is something that's an advanced feature that we use for our customers, for them and their end users. The Multi Mini. The Multi Mini has 4 different types of units: the MM0P, the MM0.1P, the MM0.2P, and not shown, the MM0P-T. All multi-mini units come with 20 safe inputs, 8 of those configurable to standard outputs. The units are broken down depending on the particular application. For instance, the MM0P is non-expandable and used for smaller projects. The MM1.0P is expandable, and we'll discuss those expansion modules later. The MM0.2P is the same as the MM0.1P, but it's an integrated multi-link interface, which we'll also discuss. The Multi is providing that flexibility of able to work with big projects or large. It's as simple as a relay and as flexible as a controller. The Multi 2. The Multi 2 is made up of 2 base units, the MB1 and the MB0. These 2 units are both compact with width of just 45 millimeters, saving you space in your cabinet and at the same time providing the highest level of safety for your application. An improvement to the Multi 2 is the LED screen found on the front of the controller. This screen is used for providing quick diagnostics feedback for less downtime on a machine and more production. The MB0 comes with 20 safe inputs, 8 units which can be configured to standard outputs, 4 semiconductor outputs, and 4 test pulse outputs, which also can be reconfigured. The MB1 has 2 internet interfaces, 0 onboard IOs. Expansion modules can be added to both of these units, which we'll discuss later on. Another advantage of this item is the exchangeable program and the removable terminals. This means less wiring and quicker downtime when fixing a machine. All you need to do is remove the terminals from the base unit, remove the program, place in a new unit, connect your terminals, upload your software, and you're back up and running. And as you see here with our MB1, it mentions how we use a USB stick in regards for that exchangeable program. And for our Multi 2, what we'd be using is we'd be having a multi-chip card, which we discussed earlier with the Multi Classic, which can be found on top of the unit. Fieldbus modules. All communication from Fieldbus modules are standard, not safe, besides our very own safety net P. This means that we can receive status, device messages, and diagnostic messages. It gives you the ability to set up your safe architecture separate from the main PLC. With Pilz being a global company, it is important to have multiple communication networks. This is also a great added advantage for our customers, as they now have the flexibility to work with their customers' demands. On the left-hand side here, you'll notice that we have some of our common Fieldbus modules, such as our ProfiNet, Ethernet IP, and EtherCAT. Another advantage here too that we see that Pilz actually offers is our standard communication cards, as you notice, will be here in green, and our safe communication modules will actually be in yellow. This is done on purpose for Pilz, just to disseminate and let customers know what can be done with the modules. Expansion modules. Expansion modules can be added on the left side and right side of the base units. On the left side, we have 4 different types. We have our Fieldbus module, our Safety Net P, Multi-Link, and our PDP-67 module. We've already discussed the Fieldbus module, so next we'll discuss is the Safety Net P. The Safety Net P can communicate up to 16 multi-link systems in a linear topology. This allows you to have safe messages across all systems at the same time. The multi-link is a module that provides and can link up with 7 PNOZmulti units at the same time, but has slower communication than the Safety Net P. The multi-link is best used when communication is between 2 units. Finally, we have our PDP-67 module. This unit is great for decentralized I/O. A maximum of 4 PDP link modules can be connected to a base unit, and a maximum of 4 blocks to each unit, giving you a total of 64 dual channel inputs, something that's another added advantage that we can do in helping out your inputs. Here on this page is just an example of the decentralized I/O block and the multi-link setup. So as you see here on the top, you have your PDP linking module. It has a cable that connects going to your block. That block then allows you to have 4 inputs coming in. Those inputs coming in dual channel. What also can be done here is a cable connection that can run to another PDP block in communication. With that, as I mentioned earlier, this can be linked up. There can be 4 blocks linked back to one module. Also on this page, you see the linking module of the PNOZmulti link. This shows communication between multi to multi, whether it's from machine to machine or somewhere else on the plant. This just gives you another added advantage how communication can be separate and keeping all safe communications alive. If you would like to learn more about how to save costs and increase your installation times, I suggest attending Chris Ondek's training, which can be held next Tuesday, May 5th. For details, please reach out to your local sales engineer. Expansion modules continued. On the right side, we have 5 different types of expansion modules. We have safe input, combined safe input and output, semiconductor output, safe motion, and safe analog. First is our digital input module, EF16DI. This module has 16 safe digital inputs. Next is our safe in, safe out module, our EF4DI, 4DO, DOR. This module has 4 safe inputs and 4 safe relay outputs. Our semiconductor modules consist of 2 options. We have EFDI 4DO and EFDI 2DOT. EFDI 4DO has 8 safe inputs and 4 semiconductor outputs. The other device, EF8DI 2DOT, has 8 digital inputs and 2 dual pole semiconductor outputs. Next is our motion modules. These modules are broken down by EF1MM, used for safe drive monitoring of 1 axis, and EF2MM, used for safe drive monitoring of 2 axis. Finally, we have our analog input. Our analog input, EF4AI. This module combines with independent safe analog input currents, great for connecting transducers and encoders with current signals. The analog module also can be used to measure variables such as pressure, temperature, and fill level. The multi-configurator. The multi-configurator is a simple and a very easy software to use. The step-by-step process of pick, place, drop function blocks in the configurator means you can set up your safety quicker and safer. The software supports many languages and also provides support documentation when a project is completed. The software is free to download online from our Pilz website, and later in this presentation, I'll be able to provide a code for you. It'll be able to allow you to play with the software. Due to some time restraints and other factors going on here of using Configurator, what I'm going to do is provide a step-by-step process during this. What I do recommend, though, for your best results in learning about our software and how great of a tool this Configurator is, I do recommend reaching out to your local sales engineer for some one-on-one. When you first open up the software, what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to pick from your 3 options of the multi-family that we discussed. Was the multi-classic, the multi-mini, and the multi-2. Depending on the type of application you're working on, that kind of determines what type of multi you will be using. For instance, as we saw earlier for the multi-classic, we saw the big bulkiness. So if you have room in your cabinet, it might be the best option for you. Or if you're working with a press application, you can use the M2P or the M3P for that burner management. If it's a smaller project, maybe the multi-mini would be the best option. Or if you have a project that you know might be expanding, but you're limited on your space, what you can use is go with that multi-2 option. What I've done for this example is I've gone and I've selected the MB0, which has 20 inputs already attached with it. After selection of your base unit that you would like to use, you have the option of selecting your expansion modules. As we discussed earlier, the expansion modules, we have 9 different types. We have 4 that can be on the left side and 5 on the right. So for my example here, what I've gone and done is I've selected an Ethernet IP module as a communication module. I've also added on a PDP linking module with 1 PDP block. And then I've also attached on here a relay output module. As you see here, though, you can have many options to select from. You have your semiconductor outputs. You also have your motion monitoring and your analog. Once you have everything selected, what's great about the configurator hardware is you actually have a picture that shows up and shows you exactly of the type of application you have and everything that's included with it. So just kind of a little hands-on, helping you as it's step by step. Also in this opportunity in the configurator hardware zone, you have an equipment identifier. The equipment identifier gives you the option of labeling your products and helps you in keeping track of your IO. Something that I do recommend when you are first going into the multi program is using this advantage, because that way you keep track of your IOs. And as I mentioned, IOs, another added advantage here too is the IO count for you. So before you even get started with your project, you're able to count up and make sure you have the correct number of inputs and outputs needed for your application before you get started and begin to work on the project. You don't want to get too far into a project and realize you still need more IOs and have to go back and start. You can add on later, but just something to keep in mind for when you begin. Next up here, as you see, we have, after everything's been selected, you're able to click the user program. As you see on my screen, the program actually reads from left to right. You have your inputs coming on this side with these first couple blocks, your logic being handled here in the middle, and your output on the right side. In this area as well, you'll notice that this is where you get to use your pick, place, and job options here for your function blocks. We have our different types of elements that we can be using from and selecting from. We have, as instance here, as you can see, emergency stops, safety gates, light curtains, and then also notice that you have your miscellaneous, such as a time element or a muting sensor. Yes, in the PNOZmulti configurator, what you are able to do is set up muting thanks to our capabilities inside the configurator. So another added advantage in how we can work with many products. You also have your logic elements that can be added for it. So you have your AND gates, OR gates, equal gates, not gates. You have your ability to set up diagnostic messages that can be sent on the front screen of your PNOZmulti configurator. And then last but not least, you have your output elements. Something else that I wasn't able to show, but another great thing about this program is that you have multiple pages that can be set up here thanks to our connection points. As you notice here, you know, there's a couple of blocks on this page, but say that there's more functions that you do need. You are able to add, as I mentioned, that separate page and have that be connected, keeping safe communication with the connection point. To learn more about this, I do recommend, though, visiting our YouTube page as well. Thanks to our colleagues in Ireland, they are providing tutorials, and we're up to week 5 right now, I believe. And during that time, they've been doing step-by-step tutorials on how to go through this process. What's great about this process as well is that you're able to pause and follow along with them inside the software. So by using that web code that I'll be able to provide to you later, you're able to actually go step-by-step and learn how to use the software to the fullest. Next up is our user program. Once you have everything selected, what you're going to be able to do is use point-to-point connection in order to connect your blocks together and set up your logic and everything that's going to be connected together. As you can see here, I've already set up the logic and such, but you can see how organized the safety system can be, making much of our lives a lot easier with this line connection. Inside our user program, you're able to label and identify each function block as well and the number of inputs needed. You can also set up that quick diagnostics, as you can see here for my example with our emergency stop 1 and emergency stop 2 labeled. I was able to do that inside the function block and able to set up where the inputs were coming from, as you can see, coming from a multi. And as you see down here, our light curtain coming from a PDP block. Once I had this message set up, I also was able to send up a display message. This display message was able to provide for us an information to let me know if an emergency stop was activated. Say, for instance, you have a number of emergency stops on a machine, and instead of having to go around and check each emergency stop, what you'd be able to do is go and use that front LED screen of your multi and be able to check to see what exact device was activated. Another added advantage for you. Some other great features for this program is our error message stack, self-created macros, and our documentation report. One part I do love about the documentation report is that checksum value number. This is a 4-digit code that is set out to you after a program has been completed. This is great for our OEMs out there. Let's say, for instance, you have a customer that you've been working with and you sent them a machine. 4 months later down the road, they reach out to you mentioning that they're receiving a bunch of faults and they're not exactly sure what's been causing the problem. What you're able to do as the OEM is you're able to go out to that site, you're able to view, and the first thing you can go and check is that checksum number and see if that 4-digit code, 5138, matches up with what the number that you had when you first came out. If the number does not match up, that'll let you know that someone has gone in and manipulated or changed the program on you, causing a little bit less stress on yourself and more explanation that you can bring back to your customer. So license options. Pilz offers 7 different types of license options. We have our basic, our user, our light option, our multi-user, our project license, our time-limited license, and our upgrade license. These license options range from prices of $200 to $450. We offer these options to be flexible for our customers and their needs. As I mentioned earlier, this software is free to use, but in order to get all the fun and cool gadgets that we do have to offer, the PNOZmulti, you will need a license. On the bottom of this page, you will see a web code. This web code will provide you a demo of a basic license, giving you the functionality to work and play with our multi software. What you'll need to use this web code is you'll have to go to our Pilz website. In the top right corner, there's a search tab. In the search tab, what you'll need to type in is web, W-E-B, 151344. The benefits overview. As I mentioned to everyone earlier, I discussed a couple of key factors to keep in mind, and one was our flexibility. The flexibility with this controller, allowing you to work with large or small projects. It also gives you the ability to work with multiple applications, as we mentioned earlier with the M2P and the M3P, working with press applications and burner management applications, but we also have those analog inputs and that motion module input that gives you the opportunity to work with those complex projects as well. Also with the flexibility with the communication modules. When I say communication, I'm not just talking about the different types of languages that we can speak, but also the different types of Fieldbus modules that we can help to demand for your customers. You also have the compact size, the 45 millimeters, saving you cabinet space. When you're able to save space and have the highest level of safety, it's a match made in heaven. I don't think anything could be more perfect. You also have your LED screen for your quick diagnostic messages, letting you know when something's coming up, getting the machine up quicker and faster back to working. You also have your removable terminals and your exchangeable memory, which means shorter machine downtime. Everyone knows when it comes down to production, if machine's down, production's down. With production down, that means money is lost. So the faster you're able to get a machine in and up and running again, the better it is. The quicker, faster means production's back up and running. It means everyone's back and happy again. Also, to remember with the exchangeable memory is say you do have a customer that is out of state. What you're able to do is as an OEM, you can actually copy the program onto a chip card and mail that memory of the program to a customer, making it easier, less travel for you and saving you your cost and your time. It's the highest level of safety at an affordable price. Another great added on feature from this is our function blocks are TUV certified. When everything is wired in correctly and also functions are set up correctly, that means there are less liability worries that you have to worry about if something does go wrong with the machine when you know that it's done correctly for you and done safely. That's something that Pilz is able to take off the pressure from you guys by working with you. And finally, our easy manageable software. You're configuring instead of wiring. You're using a mouse instead of using it on your hands and knees. You're saving yourself a lot of time and you're saving yourself that extra pressure that you need to put on yourself by having it all done all in the system. What I'd like to do now is I'd like to pass it over back to Ben, and I'd like to thank everyone for their time today.
Thanks, Pat. I appreciate that. Well done. Again, I'd like to thank everybody for their time. If you'd like any additional information on the PNOZmulti configurable relay line or any other Pilz products or service, please feel free to reach out to us at insidesales@pilzusa.com, and someone there would certainly be able to help you, or you can call our office via phone at 734-354-0272, and I'm sure someone there can help you. Thank you, everybody, very much for your time. There were a few questions in chat that I addressed, I think, during the session, but if you have any additional questions, please feel free to reach out. Have a great day.